Hello there everyone, this is MAL-MX90 and welcome to the big stompy robot simulator that is MechWarrior Online. I don't know what I was doing there, let's be quite frank. Then again, I often don't know what I'm doing anyway, so that's nothing new there, is it? Also, I should probably note, this is the first of 3 MechWarrior Online videos going out this weekend. And we're starting with a remake of what was meant to be out last Sunday. Except that my recording completely and utterly derped and it lost all my voiceover. So that was a bit strange. If you caught that one, then you saw that there was actually gameplay footage and nothing else. And you got to see this mech more or less as it is now. Except that I couldn't reuse the footage in a way that made me particularly happy with what I was doing, so just rebuilding the entire video from scratch and saying, you know what, you get 3 giant robot videos this weekend instead of 2. Sucks to be you guys. Oh well. Anyway, moving on. This is the Mauler, the MAL-MX90, and it is playing a variant of what was last shown on it like about 2 weeks ago at this point, which was all the bullets after they changed the heat balancing of the Rack 2s. So let's go into the loadout and show you what we got walking around here. Z-Mech Lab. Expand it, please. Thank you. Right. Primary weaponry is still a treble Rack 2 battery in the right torso. The ammunition has been pared back to something slightly more reasonable, so it is running on a total of 4 tons of ammo. Should be good enough to keep it going for an entire match. I could have dropped it down to 3, but didn't really... Well, I like to have more ammo rather than less. I'll speak more about that later, because I'll be talking about other versions of this particular loadout. Structure is an endo steel chassis with double heatsinks. Standard armor though, so, you know, there is that. And the engine is a light 300, so this mech has a blazing speed of 54 kph. Yes, indeed. Backup equipment is also 1 double heatsink in the left arm, 2 heatsinks in the central engine. And then finally, as its other primary weapon system, because this is a split mech, it has a Ultra AC-20. Yes, a UAC-20, fed by 3 tons of ammunition in the legs and center torso. This is the can opener of the design, while the racks are the more just like batter anything and everything that comes in front of you weapon. So, you know, I found this to actually be quite a flexible loadout. It's pretty decent. But yeah, compared to the previous one, I had a UAC-10 and a pair of LM5s. The LM5s are gone, and so is the UAC-10, and so is some of the ammo, and that's what allowed me to wrangle in a UAC-20 into the side torso. I also managed to find enough space when I stripped out the ER medium lasers, which were on the weekend build, sorry, last weekend's build when I tried to do that, to max out most of the armor. I'm just missing some on the legs, so I'm like 1 ton of armor short, but yeah, the arms are maxed out, so are the torso, so plenty of durability to be found here, at least on the forward armor. Rear armor is, as usual, thin as paper. Anyway, this is the Mauler that I'm going to be showing you today, and as I said, I'll be talking about other versions and variants and what led me to create this particular one. But until then, let us roll with the matches. Here we go.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Command coming in. Capture and hold the resource point. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to Polar Highlands. Game mode is Conquest. For once I've actually got that right, I think. Yes, indeed. Normally I'd be grumbling about this mech because I don't especially like it too much, but this mech's got enough flexibility in it to actually do okay. It's got the racks for range, and it's got the UAC as the close range can opener. That is effectively the principle of this build. Racks for just buffeting everything, and then tearing open armor with the UAC-20. And so yeah, it's actually a pretty nice combination. Hopefully I'll get to show off some decent games with it this time, but we never know how these matches are going to turn out now, do we? Anyway,
Kappa is under enemy
let us go
control.
with the
We have
rambling,
them.
because there are things to say. This particular build is the result of testing by myself and by feedback and discussion in the comments with Epic, who posed several alternative approaches to what I was doing with the LRM UAC-10 Treble Rack 2, which appeared a fortnight ago. So let's go with these. The first option was to replace the UAC-10 with a pair of UAC-5s by tearing out the LRMs and a whole bunch of ammunition. Pretty good. Yeah, I was actually okay with that because Epic was spot on. Two UAC-5s were just as good as the UAC-10. They had faster firing. They were slightly hotter, but they had better range profiles as well. So there was a lot of benefits to it. However, what broke that design
Please
for me.
focus on caps. Light Max, please focus on caps.
Looks like Lightmax are doing odd things. What broke that design for me, though, was the fact that there was very little in way of ammunition reserve, as in it stripped down a lot of ammo, as well as stripping out the LRMs and things like that. So I prefer to have at least some extra ammo in case a match drags on, because, and especially on a purely ballistic / ammunition based build, I like to have some ammo in reserve. Sometimes I overestimate it and have too much ammo in reserve, which is, one of the big criticisms Epic had for the design. I like 1,500 Rack 2 ammo left over in one of the demonstration matches a fortnight ago. But hey, I like to have like a ton-ish of ammo more than I would think of typically using.
K10, please join Assault at K9. Don't follow us to Theta.
Theta is controlled by the enemy.
Yeah, so I prefer to have a bit more ammo, and there just wasn't enough weight to fit in the ammo reserves I wanted. I wanted at least an extra ton or two to fit in more bullets, just to shoot things and make sure the mech stayed fully operational for longer. Sure, half matches it wouldn't be required, but I prefer to err on the side of keeping my guns firing rather than risking running it short in any way.
One medium on out and one assault at Theta.
Target spotted.
Sorry, one middle, one heavy, and one assault.
Okay, so we know what's over there. So, I took that one, and then I worked on my own alternative. Yes, I see you over there. Hello.
Target acquired.
Hello to you too,
Look,
King Crab.
all of them at Theta.
Yep, all of them are in Theta.
Okay, so they're all over here. Right. So, I got my own version, which is replace the UAC 5s with LBX 5s,
Moving to Epsilon.
which freed up 2 tons. So I had, yay! I've got the ammo reserves that I want.
Take and busy, try to go
However,
get more caps.
in doing that, I sacrificed a lot of the flexibility that comes from having the UACs because I didn't have a dedicated armor-piercing weapon.
We have gained Epsilon. They have
Because the UAC 10 and then the UAC 5s were acting like punch big holes in things weaponry. And so I wanted to try and maintain that because it's a very important to the flexibility of the build. The Rack 2s just aren't built for that kind of thing. They are too light. Ow! Bloody hell. Well, I'm getting pummeled. I'm not meant to be. The Mauler is still very squishy. Ouch.
Oh,
Ow.
they find me.
Yep, there we go. Still, despite that, I did 311 damage. But yeah, they're just crushing our flank right there. We got caught out in the open and really, really punished for it. They've just pushed around and rolled us. So yeah, that was the the LBX 5 version. And well, the problem was just the flat out the fact it had nothing to deal with thicker enemy armor anymore.
0-10, brilliant job.
So yeah, that's why I went away from that one. Sure, if enemy armor got exposed, I could
If we get
tear the
spotted,
heck
I'll
out of
just
everything,
fight you.
but I just couldn't do it myself, and so
I'm not
I
that
was just
fast.
not a threat to anything with any kind of armor. Not really. because my damage was just too spread out to effectively knock holes in things. Oh dear. Anyway, since that match is now over, I'm going to come back in a few moments in match number 2, as when I'll talk about the other build that Epic proposed. And then match number 3, I'll do the wrap-up on this build. So this will be a slightly longer video, but I've got things to talk about. So once again, sucks to be you guys, because I'm going to make your ears bleed with words. Yes. Fear me, because you cannot save yourselves from me. Nothing can save you from me. Woo.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Command coming in. Capture and hold the resource point. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
Okay, here we go. Game mode is, once again, Conquest, but this time we're on the Mining Collective. Oh, yes indeed. We must begin to walk immediately, because the enemy will not wait for us. No, we did. And they're going straight for Sigma. I'm going to hang back a little bit and wait for them to come join me. Okay, let us start to talk again. In the previous match, I explained about the more benign version of Epic's suggested modifications, which was the UAC-5s. My take on a variant of it, the LBX-5s. And then from there, how I didn't like the ammo reserves or losing the pinpoint damage capability, which the heavier UAC, well, just flat out the UACs offered, compared to sacrificing them for the LBXs, because the LBXs with the RAC-2s did not provide a decent anti-armor option. Hello. Yeah, I don't think he liked that very much. Oh well. Anyway, moving on. There is another version which was briefly suggested, which is RAC-5 it rather than RAC-2s, because, you know, I'd get a 33% bonus increase if I used RAC-5s rather than RAC-2s. Thing is, though, with the chest of this thing, it's doesn't like it too well. Oh, hello. Oh, he's interested in me, isn't he? Unfortunately, everything's overloaded. Yeah, so... Oh, jeez. Would you stop doing that, please? I like my armor where it is. Thank you very much. Also, someone's behind me. Ooh, back. Stop doing... I was assault trying to back up, and there was just like things behind me in the way. Oh well. There we go. Just drive them off. Okay, I am overloading a little bit, so I need to take a bit of cover. There is that. Hello, enemy Mauler. Whoa, jeez. I'm about to lose part of my side. And he seemed to have racks of his own. Ouch. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. RAC-5s, the problem is, once you put those into the torsos, and it's got to be separate torsos if you want to maintain a bigger engine, like a light engine, you can only put them in one in each torso. And then, it becomes a question of what other ballistics can you mount. This particular Mauler has treble ballistics in each side torso. And sure, I could have put that in here, but I just flat out felt that it was a better choice to just mount other things. Ooh. Ow. There we go, just gutted that Daiichi. So, the RAC-5s, I think, just flat out better idea to have them on a different build. Ow! Well, there goes my armor. Jeez. Oh well. I'm going to have to rely on my Daiichi to protect me a bit there. Oh, hello. Ha. Ow! Where am I getting shot from? The thing is, I think I'm getting flanked a little bit. I'm also very badly damaged. Yeah, there goes my rear armor.
Finish Battle Master. He scored.
I am very badly damaged right now. My armor's kind of gone. Aha! Hello. Yep. Hello, Supernova. Ow. Oh, there we go. I spent time talking about the racks and not even getting onto the one I was meant to be talking about, but still, 2 kills, 3 kill assists, and 698 damage. Ooh, that's lovely. I'll spectate what's left of this match and continue talking. So yeah, Rack 5 version would be better on a different Mauler, one with more energy weapons than missile or ballistic hardpoints, because torso space would be at a bit of a premium with the Rack 5s and the bigger engine. So there is that. Yep, solid kill with USRMs. So, that was that. Then we move on to the next thing. And the match has just ended, so god damn it. Right, I'm going to keep talking because I've got more things to say. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, 698, 6 assists. I did a lot of damage there. A lot of damage. Exit the match, yes. Right. I'll keep talking as we move on to the next bit. Because the next Mauler version I need to talk about is... Well, actually, I should explain something about the Rack 5 version first. The whole point of these Maulers was to take advantage of the cooling options for the treble Rack 2. Since Rack 5 you can only run 2 of them, Rack 2s you can run 3 of them. Sure, the Rack 5s will do more raw damage, but the Rack 2s you have more ammo, faster firing, more shake, more range, more bullet speed. It's overwhelming them by 1,000 paper cuts rather than the Rack 5s, which feel a bit underwhelming, and their slower rate of fire also makes them less forgiving of missing your shots. Rack 2s don't care if you miss shots; they just keep pummeling things. So yeah, that's kind of that's the difference between a treble Rack 2 and a double Rack 5. Though admittedly the Rack 5s don't weigh as much. Yeah, I've got to give you that one. The Rack 5s would be lighter. Anyway, moving on. Now on to Epic's preferred and favourite build, which was the dual LBX2. Hang on, I think I'm misremembering this thing. Ooh, okay, let's go. YouTube comments, show me things. Basically, it was a treble weapon system design, which makes me predisposed from the start to not be particularly inclined to use it. And that is entirely because of how, if I have a mech with 3 weapon systems, the 3rd weapon system gets underused by a severe margin. So that made me want to not really do it. It was a double Rack 2, so it still had the Rack 2s in it, but 2 of them on 3. Then it had, what was it? I've actually found the comment now, so I'm just quickly flicking through. Here we go. Right, 2 Rack 2s, 2 AC5s, and 2 LBX AC2s. However, to do this with the light engine, you'll need to use 2 regular AC2s instead of the 2 LBX AC2s because of slot limits. So there's Epic's preferred build for the Mauler MX90 right there. And the thing is, to do that, you'd have to drop either... Well, you're dropping significant raw damage for flexibility, and the general idea behind that build is maintain just more damage constantly all the time kind of thing. Which is a really good thing to go for if you like that. But personally, I like to have some serious muscle in my heavier mechs, because, you know, it's very good for punching holes in things. And then dropping the engine would also slow the mech down, which is a bit of a surprising thing from Epic. Okay, here we go.
Online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
So here we go. Flat out kill all the things. Well, actually it's base capture, but you know. Right, anyway. Back to what I was saying. That Epic's like Mauler is actually in the spirit of the original and stock Mauler, like the lore Mauler. It's a long-range fire support mech by nature, so there is that. The treble weapon system split didn't recommend it to me. And then the fact that there's the light AC2s, light racks, light, well, fairly light AC5s, it lacks punch. It's all about the DPS and just like pumping out shot after shot after shot after shot. And that's not the way I was going with the how I wanted this Mauler to be fitted out, because I actually like the raw DACA of these things down here, these treble rack 2s. It's amazing. It feels amazing to use them, so I wanted to keep that, and that by itself gave problems with the rest of it. So that's why I didn't go with that. I can see definitely how it would be a very flexible design, but it just doesn't have the go away please effect. Like bugger off you puny enemy, I'm going to blow your head off effect. It's like I'm going to whittle your armor apart at long range, please don't get anywhere near me. That's what I see when I look at the design and its preferred, its weapon loadout kind of thing. Though I do know, of course, that it's got some punch to it, just not enough. At least not enough for my taste. And honestly, the 3 weapon systems thing, especially 3 primary weapons like that, it's been a long-running thing for me. If I have a 3rd weapon, I just tend to not use them. Hello, Marauder. If you saw the footage from last weekend when this mech had twin ER meds in its arms, well, the fact is I fired them, I think, like twice in the entire video.
Enemy base is
So that
being
wasn't very
captured.
good.
Target acquired.
Okay, so there is a Mauler 1P over there with a massive selection of weaponry, so that guy's decked out to the gills, trying to just blow things up, I think. That Mauler 1P.
Need assistance.
What's he got? He's
Enemy
got
base is being
AC2s,
captured.
AC2s, LM5s, machine guns. Yeah, but he's just tried to use up all of his slots,
New
I
target
think.
acquired.
That kind of thing.
Target spotted.
So yeah. Anyway, that's why I didn't go with that one, because I wanted more weapons, I wanted more firepower. Like, hello! There's nothing that says go away like a UAC-20 pointed straight at the enemy, you know? So that's why I went with the UAC-20 rather than UAC-10. It's like, it's flexible enough to fire at lighter targets, but it's really good at knocking holes in things. Like that. See, his sensor armor in the back just evaporated because of the UAC-20 getting involved. And it's also like something, it's a fear factor thing as well. It's like, the enemy's heading towards you, it's like, oh, wait a sec, he's got an AC-20, I don't want to get up to him point blank. Because, yeah, you really don't, especially UAC-20, it just knocks holes in heavy armor plating, like, point at it and it can dish out 40 points of damage incredibly quickly. And it might not even jam, in which case it can just keep on going, and the pain drain will continue. So that's my closer range option. That's short to mid range. It hits okay at medium range with the UAC. It can do something over there. Hello. Yeah, as you can see, he's already torso twisting away from me, and I'm punishing him for it. Unfortunately, my weapons are jammed, but there we go. I just knocked straight through his side torso. I'm waiting for my racks to come back. There we go. So that the AC-20 is a very potent close range option, and it's just good for like smiting things. Then I've got the Rack 2s, which deal enough power to be dangerous by themselves, but they are very forgiving if you miss with them a lot. They've got tons of ammo and massive rate of fire, so they do a great deal to just, you know, keep things rolling. And they are my anti-midweight thing. Oops. Yep, I can't angle down because it's a torso weapon. They are my anti-light, anti-mid weapon system. They don't mind if I miss, and if I can get, I can also use them as a tracer thing as well. Like, yep, he's not happy with this. Oh, I took his arm off though. So yeah, the racks are just an all-range engagement thing with massive amounts of bullets flying everywhere, and they act as a tracer to let me actually aim the UAC-20 more accurately. Then the UAC-20 is just sheer knockout power, punch holes in things, and then once the armor's gone thanks to the UAC-20, the racks, they just start tearing the heck out of the structure and internal components because there's just so many bullets flying around. So yeah, calling the UAC-20 my can opener and the RAC-2s my general purpose combat weapon is pretty accurate. And that is why this particular video is dubbed Flexible Ballistics. The weapons have very specific uses and very good ranges, but they both function at both ranges as well, so I can choose which ones I want to employ at any given time, more or less. Short, longer ranges I can't bring the UAC-20 to bear, but, you know, the RAC-2s are still... They don't care if you miss, so you can just pump lots of bullets at the enemy. And it works too. It's powerful enough to knock out lighter mechs if they aren't able to get out of the way. And anything that does try to wander close, well, they know that they're trying to tangle with a UAC-20 at close range, so they are going to lose a lot of armor when I start shooting at them with it. So that's what makes this design flexible and powerful, in my eyes at least, and makes me say this is my loadout for this Mauler. Locked in. I love this loadout, so yeah. I have a whale of a time playing this thing. The sheer value of the Dakar by itself is awesome. And then you've got just the added sod off, go away, whoever dares to get close to me of the UAC-20, which just tears mechs apart when it starts hitting them. It's a very, very meaty backup weapon. But yeah, I think I've gone on about this long enough, I think. So this has been a bit of a longer video, as I said, and I've gone into some details on various builds and things, and why I like this particular mech and loadouts. But it's time to give your ears a rest and call it there. This has been MAL-MX90. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show and my thoughts on various pure ballistic loadouts for this Mauler. And I'll catch you all some other time. See you all later.